Okay, so tonight's topic is, are you a problem finder or a solution seeker? So here's what I want you to think about as we're talking about this, and again, chime in on the conversation. When you're up against a challenge or like something in life that is just not going your way, or do you roll over and give up? Do you tell yourself, this is just my lot in life, or that things just never work out for me anyway, I can't seem to catch a break? Any of that kind of reaction for when things go awry for you. And then, are you so married to that belief, because that's what it is, those are just beliefs, but are you so married to that belief that even when you're presented with some ideas, options, or a solution, that your automatic reaction is to negate them, that you're not willing to even hear it, try it, or hear anything that comes up different than what your belief is telling you? So, think about those questions as we have this conversation. Let me just get to my notes here. Yeah, so I want you, and this is a tough thing to kind of turn the light on yourself, but I thought this venue was perfect because it's nice and private, right? You can just listen to what I'm saying, absorb it, settle some of it in, and see if it resonates for you, because I want to help you get out of your own way. So, are you someone who is rooted in a victim's role, that you tend to play the victim, that life is out to get you, that, when shitty stuff happens, it's everybody else's fault but yours? Saw that I just lost a couple people. They might be victims. But so it's going to be tough to hear this, right? Okay, do I play the victim card, and because people who play the victim card, I don't believe really want to lay down and not improve their lives. I just think that they don't really see a way to do it. So sometimes it can feel easier to lay down and play the victim, and to just be like, well, it figures, that's just what happens to me. I always get the short end of the stick. Or, I can't, there's no way I can do that. You blame your boss, or you blame your mother, or you blame society, or, if you point fingers of blame a lot, that's what I want you to be thinking about as we have this conversation, because it's not serving you, but it can be an indicator. So, because this to me is mental clutter, right? So we're talking about a different kind of mental clutter here. So it can be an indicator about what's not working in your life. So if there's something in your life that you are not taking action on or moving forward on, and you're just kind of writing it off to, this was the hand I was dealt, then you are essentially choosing to not improve your life. You're choosing to not change your life. And believe me, I know. And naysayers and victim mentalities are really good at pointing out to me all of the exceptions to the rule, all of the special circumstances in their lives that make it so they can't possibly come up with options or choices or solutions. And I do know that there are situations in life that are extremely difficult. I think most people with us tonight, myself included, have been through or are going through some really heavy shit. And it can feel exhausting, like we're swimming upstream. And it can be anything serious, from a health issue or a family dynamic issue or whatever it might be. I mean, yes, there can be some really serious stuff that you feel like you just can't seem to get your head above water. But what I want to challenge you tonight is to know that you always have an option, you always have a choice. Even if you're dealt what seems like the crappiest hand on the planet, that you do always have that choice of, in this moment, how do I want to feel, think, or behave? Even when the odds are stacked against you, there's that option. How do I want to feel, think, or behave right now in this moment? And because even when bad stuff happens to us, or we're dealt a tough hand, we can choose to improve our life in this moment by shifting our mindset, changing our perspective, and identifying what is one small thing I could do right now to improve what's going on in my life. So it could be that, you just got some horrible news that a loved one passed away, or, that, anything. It's like, okay, what can I do in this moment to improve my situation? Well, I could let myself have a good cry. I could call a friend or someone I love and talk to them about how I'm feeling. I could take a bath and just think about that person. There's always something you can do in the moment. And while those examples of things you could do might not seem significant in the grand scheme of things as far as improving your life, it is such a huge part of improving your life, because when you feel better, you do better. In addition to the whole idea of when you know better, you do better, when you feel better, you do better. When you feel better, you have more access to creative thinking and options and ideas. And sometimes in order for us to access that kind of thinking, you have to take the time to nurture yourself a little bit. So that could be the very first step you take when dealt with some kind of blow, or feeling like, you're just getting, because we've all had those times in life where it just feels like blow after blow after blow, like the hits just keep on coming. And it's so easy to just feel totally beaten down. But it's like, okay, all right, I know the hits feel like they keep on coming, but again, what is one thing I can do right now to kind of dig myself out of what feels like this hole? All right, let me see here. Just checking my notes. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, so I wrote in my newsletter last week, because as most of you know, these talks dive in deeper to what I wrote in my newsletter the previous week. You can go to carrierichardson.com if you're not yet subscribed to my newsletter. But this is the kind of conversations, when I have these kinds of conversations with clients, it can land differently, because what I say to people is the work I do with clients isn't for the faint of heart. It does mean looking at some sometimes difficult truths. So, if I see that someone is getting in their own way repeatedly, I'm going to lovingly call them out on it. And I'm going to create a safe space to do it. I'm going to be encouraging and gentle, but also firm of like, geez, I noticed when I suggest A, B, or C, you're quick to tell me why they won't work. So I kind of joke around, but not joke around, that, when it comes to the work I do with people, victim mentalities, yeah buts, or those looking for a quick fix or rescue don't fare too well in that arena. That's not what my coaching is about. So, when you think about, are you someone who says, well, have you tried this? Well, yeah, but. Have you tried that? Well, yeah, but. If you're a yeah butter, then you are choosing to hang on to that mental clutter and staying in your own way. So then, as I always talk about with clutter, I want you to look at if that is in fact true. If you choose to negate any solution that is suggested to you, that's what I mean by, are you a problem finder or are you a solution seeker? If someone provides you a potential solution to your problem or an idea, are you quick to find a problem in that solution? So if you're choosing to continue to do that, and oftentimes it's just habit, but if you're choosing to continue to do that, it's serving you in some way. That clutter, like any other kind, is serving you in some way. And we want to find out, how is it serving you, so you can then move past it. Because every single person listening to this or watching this video has the opportunity to live an extraordinary life. And I mean it. I mean, whatever that means to you, you can live a well-curated and exceptional life. You just need to be very selective on the types of clutter that you remove and what you allow in. So anything from items to people, the consistent question I want you asking yourself is, does this add value? Does this or do they add value to my life? Hi, Joy. Welcome. Sorry, just scanned over the comments here. Does this thinking add value to my life? Does this person add value to my life? Does this shirt add value to my life? does this belief add value to my life? That's kind of the mantra question that I want you thinking of whenever you find yourself stuck, spinning your wheels, feeling like you can't get out of your own way. Stop and ask yourself, what is it that keeps getting in my way over and over again? And at first, it's hard to see that it might be your own thinking. That you might think, well, it's this employee that I have, she's just such a pain in my butt, or it's my boss, or, I just can't deal, with my brother anymore, or, the first place you go will be something outside of you, because that's what we kind of default to. And that's okay, as long as you don't stop there. So if it's like, okay, so if it's my brother who is getting in the way of my happiness, what's something I can do to get him out of the way? And if by asking that is going to help you to see, is it really him or is it really you? It might be him. It could be that every time he sees you, he knocks down your dream, let's say, and poo-poos it or tells you you're nuts or whatever. So the first step would be considering a conversation with him about how you'd prefer he didn't comment on your goals. If he can't support you, you're not interested in hearing it. Now, there's nicer ways to say it. Unless you need to get firm, then we can get there too. But chiseling away at what you believe is the obstacle will get you to what really is the obstacle. So it can be your thinking. It most often is. It's kind of how we think things should be, or how we think they are. Because if you change the way you see things, the things you see change. So if you change the way that you see things, the things you see change. So it really does start from us. So Mary says, yep, I need to declutter the negative thoughts about the poor me. Yeah. And you know what? I am all for the poor me pity party, as long as it's finite. Like, you have to, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to process what you got to process to get to where you want to be. So believe me, I am not saying pity parties aren't an option. They absolutely are. So let yourself have that pity party and then get back at it. Get back at the improving your life. And it may mean that it's a pity party that comes every couple days. I mean, just the other day, I was driving in the car with Melissa and I was having a quiet pity party. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to let myself have it. And because the sooner you stop resisting the feelings, the sooner you get on the other side of them. You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again, and this is like a mantra I live by, that letting the feelings in helps you to release them easier. So I don't let go of my feelings and thoughts. I welcome them in, and they let go of me. So let yourself have that pity party, Mary. Let those feelings come in, have the pity party, and then let them go away. It's when we tend to stay swimming in the pool of the pity party that we start to use our feelings as an excuse to not take action. So I don't want that for you or for anyone. And I don't want it for me. I got to get myself in check pretty damn often to be like, wait a minute. Am I just letting myself swirl in this negative space? Or am I willing to do something about it? And if I'm willing to do something about it, what is one small step I can take right now? And like I always say, whatever that small step is that you can take, if you're not taking it, it's likely just because it's too big. Doesn't mean you don't have what it takes or that you're lazy or any of that stuff. It just means that the step's probably too big. So break it down and be like, okay, what would be one step toward that step? If you still can't do that, what's one step towards that step? And you keep backing into it until you come up with a step that you're like, I could totally do that. I can do that in 5 minutes. Awesome. Because what's great with clearing any kind of clutter, mental included, you don't have to finish the job to feel the benefits. You just have to start the job. Like, that's what's so cool, is like you get to feel this unbelievable momentum, relief, excitement, motivation just by getting started. Because as soon as you do something, you have empowered yourself and you are shaking yourself out of that victim place or out of that poor me place. any small little action, and it's like, whoa, I feel pretty damn empowered right now. So whatever the block was that was keeping you stuck, you've started to reclaim your power from it. The more you stay in the spiral of pity and negativity, the more power you give it. So I know tonight is a little heavier than my other nights. We tend to laugh a lot, and this can be a light topic too. So while I'm saying this, I'd love for some of you or anyone who's willing to jot some stuff in the comments there about what's an area of your life that you just feel hopeless, that you just feel like you cannot see your way out of, that you find, that even more specifically, that you find you're living a little bit too long in the poor me place. And where are you allowing yourself to play the victim, to find the problem instead of the solution? Where in your life are you just feeling like you want to throw in the towel and go, you know what? I guess I'm just meant to be miserable. I guess I'm just meant to be broke, unhappy, alone, fat, whatever it is. Wherever you're looking to throw in the towel, let that be the situation that you're thinking of as we're talking here, so you can be asking yourself, what is one step I can take to get out of that negative, dark thinking? How can I shine the light on this? And either my Facebook is not working or you all are very quiet, probably very quiet because I'm shoveling some heavy stuff your way. But this is important stuff that I want you guys to think about. So Kathy says, feel trapped with weight, not being in a relationship, etc. Yeah, great, Kathy. So not great that you feel that way, but great to have these specific examples. So when you're feeling that way, it's like, man, I feel like I cannot make any progress on eating healthier or exercising and meeting someone. So oftentimes, as will come no surprise to you, Kathy, or anyone else, those two things go hand in hand. If we are feeling trapped in our body, meaning we can't lose the weight or change things, then chances are you don't feel fantastic about yourself. And when you don't feel fantastic about yourself, the likelihood of you putting yourself out there in a way that you can meet someone is pretty low. So the first relationship I would want you to work on is your relationship with yourself before you even think about a relationship with anyone else. This is going to actually address both examples you raise here. The more you deepen the relationship with yourself, the better you're going to treat yourself. You're going to choose healthier foods. You're going to choose to exercise instead of not. So working on that relationship first is absolutely going to help both. You're going to feel more worthy of a healthier lifestyle. And what's surprising, what I think you'll find surprising is by just taking those initial steps on living a healthier lifestyle, however that means to you, exercising more, eating better, whatever, you will feel ready to date and meet someone way before your goal weight. Because I'm sure part of the clutter is telling you can't really look to meet anyone until you get at your goal weight. It's just an excuse. It's all in the mind. So if you make a healthier choice, you will immediately start to feel better, which means that you'll feel more confident in yourself long before all the weight's gone, and you'll put yourself out there more. It's little tiny baby steps. Now listen, I am someone, as most of you know, who has struggled with my weight since I was 12 years old. I've had incredible success losing weight, losing a lot of weight, and I've had incredible setbacks gaining it all back. And I know that the more weight I gain back, the crappier I feel about myself, the worse I speak about myself, the worse I treat myself, which just results in more weight gain. But when you start to take teeny tiny steps, and I'm talking tonight for dinner was my first teeny tiny step. which let me see. I can't include a picture here. I'm just going to put a picture up of my dinner. But Melissa made these great lettuce shell taco bowls. So it's like a romaine lettuce leaf, and in it was like taco filling, ground turkey with some peppers and onions and low-fat cheese and tomatoes and little soy sauce. Good stuff. And it was like, as I was eating it, there was part of me that was annoyed that it wasn't something sugary and sweet. But really, the majority of me was like, this is really good. Like, this is tasty and delicious. And the crunch of the lettuce was really satisfying. And then, so you get the voices going, right? So then my negative voice comes back up and says, yeah, but you know what? After your Facebook Live, you're not going to have any snack to treat yourself with for going live on camera. And it's like, well, you know what? Then I'll have, some popcorn instead of cookies or something. So when you start to take those small steps, Kathy, you're going to have that banter in your mind. The one that wants to keep you stuck, the one that wants to see you make progress. And I need to remember, as well as I encourage you all to remember, that the one that wants to keep you stuck is just scared of any repercussions if she fails. That she believes that your love for her is conditional based off of success, and that if you choose to eat something that isn't great, that maybe you'll love her a little less. I've got a sneeze coming. Excuse me. So yes. So Kathy, I would say work on the relationship first with yourself. And I think you'll quickly find that you're interested in putting yourself out there a little bit more. So Lisa says, aspects of my business that seem too overwhelming, Facebook ads, funnels, lead pages, etc. Oh, Lisa, I hear ya, sister. It's a lot of work, right? Yeah, so if that's the place where you tell yourself, you know what, it's all just too much for me, I don't have what it takes, or I think, sometimes like when I think of all those things, because as a self-employed person, I can go down the same route. I can think, I think it's just BS that you have to do all this. And like I can get really angry and ornery and not really want to do that stuff. But again, like anything else, it's like, what is one small step you can take to either learn more about that, if you need to learn more about it, to outsource it if that's possible, to determine if it's even necessary. Like really thinking about that, when we think about, sales funnels and lead pages and all that stuff, I find for me, and this is just a separate kind of entrepreneurial tip, I find for me that the more I think about writing a love letter to my ideal client and less about like writing a sales page, I get more into my authenticity, because a sales funnel is just a service you're providing to people. A sales funnel can sound really snake oil salesy and kind of gross. But if you think about, it's a service I'm providing to people to let them know that I have some great resources that's available to them, whether it's a free newsletter, whether it's a Facebook Live like this, whether it's a course, whether it's private coaching. So you're just providing options for them. People can sometimes think of marketing as a dirty word. I reframe marketing as it really is a service I'm providing people. Listen, I'm just going to tell you what I have to offer because I really believe in the work I do. And if it feels like it's a fit for you, great, let's do this. And if it's not, it's okay. Maybe something in the future will, or continue to enjoy my newsletters and my Facebook Lives. So I think some of that business stuff that can feel really overwhelming, Lisa, if you bring it down to brass tacks of like, what is the work I love to do? What is the service I want to provide to people if it is in fact a service-oriented business, which I'm imagining it is based on your comments here. What is it that I want to help people with, or what service do I want to provide? And like, how can I really knock their socks off? And it's like, my dad always said, growing up, I would hear him say, relationships before results. He always said that about he was an entrepreneur as well. Relationships before results. So don't worry about the sales funnel results. Worry about creating a relationship with someone. Another friend of mine just recently said, and I liked this as well, that he encourages his clients, don't think of it as, I just closed the deal. It's, I started a relationship. I made a connection. So I think those little shifts in your perspective, Lisa, might be helpful. So Lisa says, I do really well in other areas of my business, but sometimes there seems like there's too much to learn and do. Yeah, there is way too much information out there when it comes to the types of things you're talking about, Lisa, for sure. One resource, not to pile on more resources for you, but I think you might actually find this one helpful. I know I enjoy it. Is Fizzle. That's the name of the company. So it's Fizzle.co. If Melissa can put that in the comments section. Fizzle.co is a great place for solopreneurs, small business owners who really want to make a living doing something they love. And they spell it out in a way that is really accessible. And if you listen to their podcast, so it's Fizzle Show. Hold on. Fizzleshow.co or Fizzle Show. They have weird websites, so weird URLs. Okay, yeah, Fizzle.co/show, SHOW. That's their podcast. Great podcast every week. What's also cool, and I'm in no way affiliated with them. Like, I don't get any kind of affiliate commission, just so you know. I just really like them. Fizzleshow.co or Fizzle.co/show. Both will get you to the same place. So Fizzleshow.co is probably the easiest thing to remember. But as a listener of their podcast, you can try their services for 5 weeks for free. Or you can just listen to the podcast. I just listened to the podcast for a year or more before I began to subscribe to their service. But they will actually take you through what they call a roadmap of building a business. And their courses are like short, like 10, 15 minutes. But they're just done really well. So it's a great resource. It's like $35 a month, really cheap. They sometimes run specials where it's like $250 for the year. But start with their podcast. I think you'll really like them. Kathy, yeah, self-care is helping in all areas of my life. That's great, Kathy. Being a single mom and not having time was a huge excuse for a long time, but I've at least let that go. Yeah, so that excuse, whatever the excuse is that we use, is just our younger self wanting to keep us stuck. So again, she just wants you to not make any change because change is scary to her. Change is always bad to that part of us who feels afraid. So that's the other benefit of small steps, is that you start to get that part of you on board. Sarah, I have felt great releasing my clutter. Some items were really good to release. I feel better. That's awesome, Sarah. Yeah, you're doing a kick-ass job of getting rid of clutter. It's great. Yeah, it was really delicious. Or have a time with yourself, sea salt bath, reading a book, or journaling treat. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, different treats, right? Yeah. I can think of it for others, but to do it for myself, it's so true, right? It's so easy to do this kind of stuff for others or to think of ideas for others. And it sounds like such a great idea when you suggest it to other people. But then to act, that's what's so interesting, Kathy, is, we can think of these ways to treat ourselves, to nurture ourselves. We can offer suggestions to other people, easy peasy. But when it comes to doing it for ourselves, like, where's the rub there? Like, why don't I feel worthy, if it is, to sit down and enjoy a book, or to, go to bed early and, watch a show on my computer, or take a bath, or go for a walk, or all of those things do take effort, but some of them don't. Like, to sit down and open a book doesn't take a whole lot of effort. So if you're not doing it, it's like, why? Like, why do you not want to gift yourself that? So Annie's in the house. Hey, Annie. And Donna and Lindsay. Annie got in. You're welcome, Lisa. Yeah, it's so easy to forget to break things down into small steps. I'll tell you, if you need to put like a Post-it note somewhere, if you need to put a reminder on your phone, small steps. Like, it can just say small steps. do a little post-it on your computer, using the Pomodoro Technique, which you've all heard me talk about. You can, like, sometimes I'll just put a little note on my to-do list that just says POM, P-O-M, as a reminder to myself, like, I know these things can feel big and daunting, Carrie, but just do one 25-minute round. And yeah, so little steps like that are so helpful. Wendy, life as a woman today is difficult. Being trapped in the middle of a lousy divorce, being financially unprepared, and let me make sure I didn't miss. Trying to turn it around, but all new territory. Yeah, I totally get that, Wenda. It's you know what? The most important thing you said was at the end there. It's new territory. So that's what I want you to remember. There is a learning curve when we're doing anything new, and we never give ourselves the opportunity to take that time to learn it. Like, you're not going to be an expert on navigating a lousy divorce and being financially unprepared. Like, it's going to take time to learn how to navigate those waters. But I want you to be really careful. You know, it's the words we use are so powerful. So when you say life as a woman today is difficult, while that's absolutely true in a lot of ways, the very next thought I would want you to have is, how can I make it easier? How can I make it easier? Like, just for yourself. Life as a woman today is difficult. How can I make it easier? What is one small thing I can do for myself to make it easier? So if you're feeling, I'm just going to vamp off the top of my head. So, if you're in the middle of a lousy divorce, are you getting support around that? Are you talking to a therapist? Are you reading any books about divorce? Being financially unprepared? Where can you get some support? There's lots of great free resources online. Or, do you have an accountant you could talk to about how can I navigate the financial waters of a lousy divorce? And then you have all the emotions on top of it. So journaling is going to be great. And I know when you're going through heavy stuff like this, the last thing you feel like you have the energy for are these kinds of things. But again, particularly in your situation, because that is heavy stuff, if any of those examples feel too heavy, just break it down. It's like, you know what? I don't want to journal because I don't want to face my emotions. Great. Then I want you to journal about that. I don't want to journal. I hate Carrie for even recommending it. I don't want to even face what I'm dealing. This is crap. I never thought I'd be here. Like, let that part of you have a voice. She needs to be heard. Have that pity party like we talked about with Mary earlier on. Have the pity party and then take that very next step. Have the pity party, take the very next step. Keep the action moving because action is empowerment. I promise you. I know it's totally tough what you're going through. I get it. But any little step is so good, Wenda. Welcome, Lisa and Michelle. Look at my whole family's coming. Love you guys. Better late than never. You can be here for 5 minutes. It's all good, Lisa. It's all good. Yeah, fizzleshow.co. Yeah. Yeah, Donna, made a connection. Created a relationship. Yeah, Donna, a Prom round. So the Pomodoro Technique is a time management tool that I use to help break down overwhelming projects and tasks. So it's as simple as this. I'll do a quick review of it because it really is that easy. You sit down at the task or project that you need to do or handle. It might be journaling that you want to do. It could be balancing a bank statement. It could be anything. Taxes, writing, whatever it is. You eliminate all distractions. Email gets shut off. Ringer on the phone is turned off. People in your household are told, I'm not available for the next 30 minutes. And you set a timer for 25 minutes. And you work on that task for those 25 minutes. Then when the timer goes off, you take a 5-minute break, up and away from the task. If you're really on a roll and you want to keep going, totally cool. But at some point when you feel that part of you going, all right, enough's enough, take that break because that's your resistance that wants to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You can't make a little kid work all day long. She needs to play too. So when I call it a Pom round, that's just short for a Pomodoro Technique round. So a Pom round is a 25-minute round. And I'll tell you, it is freaking foolproof. I mean, I'm not saying it's always easy, but when I first started using them, I thought, I can't focus for 25 minutes straight. That's a long time. And then as I started to use them, sometimes I would start it and go, oh my God, I only have 25 minutes. I better get going. So it changes day to day. Like I think about, this week I have to write an article for a magazine that asked me to write them an article. And I'm kind of like, oh my God, like I got to sit down and write this. It's 800 or 900 words. It's not a tiny piece. So I know tomorrow I'm going to do a palm round. And I'm just going to start there. And the palm round like gets the wheels in motion. It's such a huge way to get started on anything that feels daunting or overwhelming, like clutter, whatever it is. Hold on one second. My computer just died. It's time for a new computer.
Do you want mine?
Nope. I'm okay. Just give me 1 second here if I turn this freaking thing. Poor me. My computer's broken. It's not just the way it goes. No, just kidding. First world problems. So I'm not going to be able to see the comments for a few minutes because this is going to take some time to boot up. So Melissa, can you just tell me who was after Donna's question about the palm round?
Wendy said, yes, Wenda said, yes, I do have a therapist. Family is strong and always supportive. Great friends as well. Journaling is a great idea.
Awesome, Wenda. Oh, good. So you have some good support. That's great to hear. Lean on that support. I know, particularly as women, we have a hard time asking for help. We have a hard time leaning on people. But I have found, and I often have to remind myself, that the people in your life who love you really do want to support you, and they actually consider it an honor, I think. As long as you're not if you're not a person who is finding a problem with every solution, but if you just need to have like a cry with someone, or you need someone, for some help with the finances, like figuring out something that you don't understand, whatever it is. But I have found in my life that you really rob your relationship of intimacy when you don't lean on people, when you just act like you have it all together, when you don't ask for help. So don't be afraid to ask the people in your life for help. It sounds like you have a great support system, which is fantastic. Continue to lean on that. One small step at a time. And I think journaling is going to be really, really helpful for you. I'm stealing Melissa's computer because mine sucks. Thanks, Melissa. All right. Pardon me 1 second while I swap out. I know, such a problem, right? Like, I got to swap out one laptop for another. Wah. Can't go to the poor meat place, can I? All right, good. Man, it's hot here.
Yeah.
Put that AC on, girl.
Too loud.
Oh, it's too loud, damn it. I don't know where you all are in the country or the world, but it is freaking hot here. Thank God for air conditioning. Okay, let me see here. Good, Wenda. I'm so glad that you have that support. Kathy, I think of having so much time if I have the afternoon to myself, and I'll procrastinate, but when I know I just have 25 minutes, I get it done. Yeah, that's so true, Kathy. Like, I can do that too. If I know that I have a pretty loose day, like if I don't have a lot of appointments or client calls, and I think, I've got all day to get that article done, as an example, then I'll procrastinate and be like, I got all day. And then 3 o'clock, I'm like, crap, it's 3 o'clock. So if I go, you know what, Carrie, just go sit down for the 25-minute palm round, then I get things rolling. Yes, Kathy, I do want a new laptop. You're absolutely right. Ask for help getting a new one. Everybody send me a donation for a new laptop. No, I'm just kidding. Donna's going to palm tomorrow. Woo woo. Playing with the palm. She's leaning on you, Melissa. Mm-hmm. All right, Kathy. Yeah, so it's warm there too. Yeah, it is toasty. We're going to get some reprieve on Wednesday, but it is toasty. All right. Oh, you know what's awesome is I can't reference my notes to make sure I hit everything. I think I hit everything. So now I want to hear from you all. So I know we're wrapping up here. So let's do this. Great weather where Sarah is. Good for you. It's toasty here. Let's wrap up with gratitudes. Since we didn't start with them, I think it would be fun to end with them. So write down one thing in the comments section that you are grateful for from today. I am grateful for a visit with my old neighbors. I shouldn't call them old. My former neighbors. they were down in this area visiting, and we got to have dinner with them last night and breakfast this morning. Hadn't seen them in like 2 years. When we were neighbors, we were really good friends. We were over there a lot. It's funny, the friends you make with people, like he's in his 80s, she's in her 70s, and they feel like peers. Like they're so young at heart, and like we just have a great time together. Like who would think that, you never know. But I'm so grateful for the visit with them because it really boosted me. I don't have a established community where I'm living, so it can get pretty lonely. So it was really nice to hang out with them. So that's what I'm grateful for. Judy, that's a great suggestion. Hey, Judy, Conscious Uncoupling by Catherine Woodward Thomas might be useful. Yeah, Wenda, I hope you saw that. That's a great one. Stephanie, you know what I have a really hard time with? People actually listening to me. It throws my game off when I have to repeat myself. I get so frustrated and irritated. How to handle this? I would love Melissa to take this question. Here's why. The poor girl is interrupted all the time. I do it to her. I don't know what it is, but people interrupt her all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's maddening. It's got to be incredibly maddening for her. I notice it when other people do it. I don't notice it when I do it, and I know I do it. So, Melissa, any insights?
Sometimes I just keep talking while the person's talking, but louder.
So sometimes, I don't know if you heard her, but she says sometimes she just keeps talking when the other person is talking over her, and she just gets louder to just kind of send a message of, hey, I was actually speaking. Other things that I've done and I've actually seen her do is to just kind of like sometimes she'll just stop talking and go, okay, I guess you really didn't want to know after all. Like just kind of like a playful banter, but like a zing, like you asked me a question and you're not even listening to the answer. So people actually listening to you, Stephanie, I want you to say just a little bit more about that. So it throws your game off when you have to repeat yourself. It sounds like it could be a little bit of a boundary issue. So you could, the person who's interrupting you or not listening to you, if you're actually engaged in a conversation with them, you could ask them, like, is now not a good time to talk? You seem distracted. Just kind of call them on it, but in an inquisitive kind of way and not a confrontational way. So just hey, you seem distracted. Is now not a good time? Do you want to finish this conversation another time? Anything else, Melissa, that you can think of?
Sometimes just stop talking in the middle of the sentence and wait for that person to finish, and then I say, well, as I was saying.
Oh, so I don't know if you heard her. So in case you didn't, just stop talking as soon as they start talking, and then wait for them to finish, and then ask them and say, well, as I was saying, and then you can continue. So I wonder if it's interruption like Melissa gets, or if it's literally like people just aren't listening to you at all. So I'd be curious. Let me see if Stephanie's... Okay, yeah, if you want to say anything else, Stephanie. But that's going to be incredibly frustrating, yeah. Annoying. All right, let's see here. Lisa, clothes dried outside. To be grateful for. That's nice. Annie, grateful for all my children. Annie, I thought you'd be grateful for Neil Diamond. My mother went to see Neil Diamond last night, which she has loved Neil Diamond for as long as I can remember. In fact, my very first concert was Neil Diamond. And it was awesome. It was amazing. I don't know if you remember that, Mom, but I was like 12 or 13, something like that. Maybe younger, actually. 11. And she had tickets to Neil Diamond, and she wanted me to come along. And I was like, Neil Diamond, she was going with friends and my dad, and she said, well, you have a choice. You can come to Neil Diamond, or you can stay overnight with a babysitter. Like, you can go to the babysitters. And I was like, Neil Diamond, So went to Neil Diamond, had a great time. It was so fun to watch my mother and father enjoying the show. And my brother, who was with my mother last night at the concert, sent a video of her singing along to Sweet Caroline. And I'll tell you, I have watched it probably 5 times. It brought me so much joy. So I'm grateful for that video, actually, because it brought me back to when I was a little girl at the concert with her. And watching her stand up and sing along, and she was doing the same thing last night. It was just awesome. So I'm grateful for that. Kathy, her daughter's string night at her school. She's in the choir and plays violin. Awesome. Good for her. Yay, Emma. Carol, my mother-in-law emailed me. I am always welcome at her house. Beautiful, Carol. Love that. Mary, I'm grateful I have my air conditioner. I'm with you, sister. Wenda, I am grateful for checking this live chat with you. Thank you so much. Awesome, Wenda. Well, I'm really glad to have you here. I do it every Monday night, same time. Would love to have you come back. Kathy, I'm so with Stephanie. Sometimes I'm just silent and stare until they tune in to an uncomfortable silence when they're ready to listen. That's a good idea, too, Kathy, is to just let them feel the awkwardness of the silence. Sarah, I'm grateful for the conversation with a bus driver I have known for a long time. Oh, I love that. I love when you have these unexpected great conversations. Donna, I am grateful for my mom who supported me today. Beautiful. I love these. I love wrapping up with grateful stuff. Kathy, or I'll let them know that I need their cooperation in listening to me until I'm finished, and I'll let them know when I'm done. Yeah, so just instructing people. Sometimes people need instructions on listening. Like Judge Judy always says, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen. Lisa, I'm grateful for the delish meal that was waiting for me when I got home from the gym. That's so nice. What a nice surprise, and good for you for going to the gym. Someday I'll get back there. Yeah, Annie, congrats. Stephanie, I'm grateful that it is 60 degrees outside. I know it is really hot elsewhere and will be really hot here in the next couple days. Yeah, enjoy the 60 degrees, Stephanie. It's nice. And even the hot days, it's like, it's hot here, but at least today it's not humid. It's supposed to be, I think, tomorrow. But yeah, grateful for air conditioning. So, oh my gosh, you guys. Love chatting with you tonight. Thanks for being so participatory. Sounds like a weird word, but I think it really is a word. Anyway, really glad to have you guys here. Thanks for chatting. Remember, if you want to check out my book, I'd love for you to pre-order that book. You can get the bonuses. Look at the link on the pinned comment at the top, kerryrichardsson.com/book. And also check my calendar page on my website because I'm scheduling book talks. They're primarily probably just going to be in New England to start, but who knows for the future. But you can check there. I've got one scheduled currently in Boston, in Mystic, Connecticut, in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Newburyport, Massachusetts. Probably have 1 or 2 more that I'll be putting on the calendar. So you can check my website under the calendar for information on my book talks and signings that are coming up. I think that's everything. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great week. And Nova Scotia is close. We will enjoy the hot day. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And congratulations on carving out this time for yourself because you're worthy and you matter. Baby steps are your friends. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.